I would automatically think that it wouldn't be as juicy inside, but it actually does the complete opposite to what I'm thinking. You want to squeeze that in there as I get stirring? I'll have to remember before we bite into it.
Remove the toothpicks.
Yeah, exactly. Hello everyone and welcome to the show. My name is Jordan Scott and today cooking with us is Jeff Schiller. Jeff, why don't you start off by telling everybody a little bit of how you got into barbecuing?
Thanks, Jordan. Well, I've been cooking all my life. I've always loved to cook. And like anybody who does a lot of cooking, you sort of get bored with the stove after a while and you start looking for a little bit of a different medium to use. Barbecuing became a next progression for that. So.
All right, well that sounds like a good enough reason to me.
All right.
So what do we got going on here today, Jeff?
Well, we're going to do up some seared scallops. We're going to cover them in cayenne pepper. We're going to sear them on the barbecue on a block of Himalayan pink salt.
Oh, nice.
We're going to cover them with a nice jalapeno vinaigrette and some citrus slices.
Okay, that sounds good. A little bit of a spicy hot dish we've got.
A little bit of each.
All right,
exactly.
I like it. So what do we do to get started?
Okay, well we've got some great scallops here. They're Canadian scallops. So they're from Nova Scotia. And the first thing we want to do with our scallops, we want to make sure that they're reasonably dry. We've got a lot of the moisture out of them.
Okay.
Next thing we're going to do, and if you can give me a hand with this part, we're going to score the top just ever so lightly in just sort of a checkerboard pattern. We're going to do that on both sides, not too deep.
Almost as if you're doing like a bakery dough.
Exactly, just as if it was a bakery dough.
And you said both sides are doing this?
Both sides, yeah.
Okay.
And what that's going to do is when we sear them, that's going to allow some of the moisture to come out. And we're going to get a nice crusty sear on top of it. It's going to look fantastic.
Perfect.
So all the scallops are relatively the same size. I think that's pretty important so that when we do cook them, they're all going to cook about the same time. We're going to go pretty quick, only about 1 minute per side.
Wow, all right. Oops, I forgot to do that side.
Got to get both sides.
Gotta get both
we are going to
sides.
sear both sides for sure.
So I can see that these are a pretty good size scallop that we have going on here. You wouldn't recommend using anything smaller, would you? Would you kind of stick to the bigger size scallops?
I always think at the biggest scallops you can. If you use scallops that are too small, they cook too fast, and then that's when they get rubbery. So we definitely want to go with a large enough scallop. So while you're doing that, I'm going to get started on our vinaigrette. And for that, we're going to use a jalapeno pepper, not the whole pepper. We're going to just use about half of it. We're also going to add some onion to that. Some garlic. You can cut it in fairly large pieces because we're really, more than a vinaigrette, we're just looking to flavor the olive oil, and we're gonna drizzle that on top.
So we're not actually going to be getting any of the pieces coming out.
No.
It's more so the flavors being infused into the olive oil.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the size of the dice doesn't really matter.
As far as flavor goes, it kind of just...
It's all gonna work out.
Okay.
Yeah. We are using red onion. Red onion can be fairly oniony.
Yes.
So we definitely don't want to use a lot of it. We're just going to dice that all up together. Now, instead of whisking it, what I like to do is I use a mason jar. We'll put all our dice in there. And because we didn't rinse off the jalapeno pepper after we cut it, we have a few seeds in there. Lots of jalapeno oil. That's going to make it nice and hot.
I was going to say, so usually the seeds are what makes everything hot.
Exactly.
So if you're not into the very hot, you could just take your seeds out, they're saying?
Exactly.
But you like the seeds
and you can rinse it off. We want to leave them in.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
We're going to add about that much olive oil. We're going to throw about this much garlic in it. And then we're going to use a couple of limes to get some fresh lime juice out.
So we're rolling the limes. What does that help with, Jeff?
That's going to release all the juices on the inside so that we get all the juice that we can possibly get out of there. And we want lots of the lime juice. We definitely want that citrus taste.
Yeah.
Oh, you're...
I'm like
got
pretty
the
good.
Scallops
My timing's
already.
good.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
You're hired.
All right. We'll talk later.
Exactly. So we've got lots of lime juice in there now. We're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. So you got to have some salt to bring all the flavor out.
Okay.
We're going to cover that up, give it a good shake.
Now, is this something that needs to sit overnight, or is it something you can make the day of you're actually preparing this meal?
You can make it just like we're doing now.
Okay.
The longer you let it sit, up to a point, you'll get more flavor coming out of the jalapenos. But definitely 10 or 15 minutes is enough time to start bringing things out.
Okay,
You'll
perfect.
notice I saved half a lime.
Yes.
Once we're done, we're going to squeeze some of the fresh lime right on top.
Right on top of the scallops?
Exactly.
Awesome.
So
that sounds great.
before we put those in, I mentioned we're going to serve it up with some citrus.
Yes.
So I'm going to get your help again.
Alrighty.
We're going to cut out some wedges from the orange and the grapefruit.
And I'm going to take the orange and I'm
Exactly.
doing exactly what you're doing with the grapefruit?
You can, yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
And then the
Get a hand there.
ends. Perfect.
And now if you slice in between the actual membrane,
Yep.
you'll just get, without it being tough, you'll just get some nice wedges that'll come out.
Oh.
And we'll put those right back in the bowl.
Nice. See, I've never done this before. This is kind of a neat trick.
That way when they break, when you're eating them, you don't get that tough membrane that's in between, especially on the grapefruit. There, that's probably plenty of citrus.
Perfect.
We'll get rid of all
the
that.
fruit and the hot is a mix I never would have thought of, but I'm looking forward to giving it a try. So.
Exactly. We want lots of heat. So before we put our scallops on, we do want to sprinkle them with a little bit of cayenne.
Okay. Now the cayenne is basically personal preference as far as how hot you want it or how much you want to put onto this?
Exactly, yep,
okay.
Yep. You can add more or less. We are going to do both sides, but we won't sprinkle the other side till they're actually searing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you sear the first side and then we'll take them and put more on.
Exactly.
Okay, and what's going on with this avocado
Okay, well
here?
before we have our salt on the barbecue right now. We have it about 500 degrees. That's what we want to sear it at. It's only going to take about a minute per side.
Okay.
So before we throw those on, we want to get ready for our side dish.
Okay.
And our side dish, we have to grill some avocado.
All right.
So we're going to take our avocado that we already have cut in half. We're going to brush a little olive oil on there. And we're going to put that on our grill.
Stick it on the grill.
Get some nice smoky flavor to it and some nice grill lines.
All right, well that sounds good. So
Perfect.
while that's cooking on the grill, Jeff, I'm gonna head over and see what Shayna's got going on for an appetizer and we'll be back with you.
Perfect.
All right, thanks. I'm here with Shayna. Shayna, what are you making for us today?
Today I have a really simple, really versatile appetizer for when it's just too hot to put the oven on.
I like it.
We're going to do a summer roll. It's nice and light and very easy to make. So we're going to start with chopping our veggies.
Okay.
I've got some carrot, cucumber, green onion, cilantro, and shrimp.
All right.
Okay, so if you don't mind peeling those for me.
I can do
start
that.
Chopping the green onion.
So basically we're getting all the skin off of this cucumber right to the very end there.
That's
are we going
right.
to use the end piece? Or
No,
do
if you could
usually-
chop the end piece off for me.
Okay.
What I'm going to be doing with all the vegetables is just chopping them really fine into matchsticks so they're really easy to roll up in the rice paper.
Perfect.
That's good there. We'll get you started on the carrot for me.
All right. Trade ya?
Trade ya. So again, we're not going to want this too long, nice and short, so it's going to be easy to roll up. And a little goes a long way, really. You need like half a cucumber and you're going to get a lot of rolls out of that.
Oh, really? So it's fairly inexpensive. Whoops.
Oh, very
to do at home.
inexpensive. It's good for a crowd.
Yeah.
You can make them ahead.
When you say make them ahead, can these sit in the fridge overnight?
They can. How you have to store them though is you have to put a damp paper towel underneath so they don't stick to whatever you're storing them on.
Okay.
So I'm going to leave those
So
there.
how's that look for you? Is that peeled enough?
Beautiful.
Take off the ends?
Oh, I can take off the
Perfect.
ends. If you don't mind just slicing those in half for me.
Okay, so how am I going to be slicing
If you do it lengthwise from the head to the tail.
Okay. I think I can manage.
All right, perfect.
Right on. So if you're not a meat eater, you can definitely make these without the shrimp, or would
Oh,
you say
absolutely.
the shrimp is a good?
No, you can make them with chicken if you want to use another meat, or you could use all veggies, put in an avocado, vermicelli noodles. Like I said, really versatile.
Okay, my shrimpies are all ready for you.
All right, I think we're ready to go here. So I've got some warm water here, and I'm just going to pour it into a flat surface.
So what are you using here?
This is just a pizza tray.
Cool.
Easiest thing I could find.
Okay.
So you want to fully submerge the rice paper in the warm water until it's pliable, usually about like 10 seconds or so.
Okay.
You'll start to feel
So
it.
basically you should feel that you're able to roll it or have some sort of movement with it?
Yep. It's coming along here. Okay. So we're going to layer our veggies in there.
Is there a specific amount of vegetables that you put in each wrap?
You'll be able to
or-
tell from the first one you make how big, depends on how big you want to make them,
Yeah.
whether it's going to be a main or an appetizer.
Right, and today these are appetizers, so we're going to make them a little bit smaller, but let's say if you were having lunch You could make a big wrap and
yeah.
bring it to work or something like that.
And then just a few leaves of cilantro in there. And then we're gonna roll them up.
Let's see how we roll this thing.
So I roll it along, and then I tuck the ends in right before the very end.
Okay.
And keep rolling.
How is that gonna stick together now?
Yeah, it'll stick together with the water. It kind of makes a light glue almost from the gluten in the rice.
So as far as keeping that size, can you eat it whole, or are you going to be cutting that into a bite size, or does it have to sit before you cut it?
It's better if they sit so they can really stick together before you try and cut them. But again, if you're making like an appetizer tray, it's nice to cut them in half so you can see all the ingredients. So we'll make one more here. If you want to try rolling one up.
Oh boy,
I can
that could be
I
dangerous.
can guide you along.
All right, we'll give it a go here. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
Exactly. I think a lot of people are intimidated by the rice paper. They're not sure exactly how to use it, but it's super simple.
So I would say the most important thing, though, is putting it in the water, right? Because this is not going to be tasting good if you're not
tasting good and not feeling good in your mouth either. It's quite crispy.
All right, so it does a lot of good things for us then.
Okay, you want to start off with a little bit of cucumber?
Cucumber. So, okay, am I going this way or this way? Does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You decide.
So you just go with it. All right.
That's enough cucumber.
All right.
A few carrot sticks there.
Couple carrots.
A little bit of green onion.
Some green onion. Look at me go.
Some cilantro.
Now, as far as the cilantro, do you usually go too heavy, or is it more of like a
It's a personal preference.
Yeah.
Some people love cilantro and other people aren't too fond. You can also use fresh basil leaves, are really nice in it as well.
because I mean, you're either a cilantro lover or not, right?
Exactly.
There's no in between.
And then if you want to put a couple shrimp in there.
Sure. Three pieces?
Three should cut it.
I'm a shrimpy girl, so let's do it. All right.
All right, so start at this end and roll it.
Okay, here we go. This is my first time using a rice wrap.
Okay, tighten it up a little bit.
All right.
Keep rolling, rolling. And we're going to tuck the ends in.
Oh, we're tucking the ends in. Let me just remind everybody, this is my first time doing this.
You're doing beautiful.
I'm pretty impressed with myself. I'm not going to lie here. Okay.
Okay, you're almost there. And if you want to throw it on the tray here, so I've got a moist paper towel.
Lovely.
To store it in the fridge, and I usually serve this with some Thai sweet chili sauce.
Okay.
If you're feeling adventurous, you could also make your own peanut sauce. Goes really nice as well.
Perfect. So if we were making these appetizers, we cut them in half, but you can pretty much just eat them like this.
That's right. Good to go.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Shayna. Okay everyone, and I'm back here with Jeff, and we are just working on some scallops. So for those of you who are just catching up with the show, Jeff, can you give us a little bit of a recap of what we've got going on here?
Okay, well, we prepared our citrus. We've got some grapefruit and some orange that we're going to use when we plate our scallops.
Okay.
We've got our jalapeno and lime vinaigrette, where all the flavors are coming together in the oil. We took our scallops, we scored them across the top and the bottom. We put a little bit of cayenne pepper on, and on the barbecue we have our block of Himalayan salt at about 500 degrees, and we're going to start to sear them.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So we're just going to open up this barbecue here, and we did have an avocado on here grilling for Shayna's side dish, so we're going to check that out.
Okay, we're going to take our scallops. I'm going to put the cayenne side down.
Now this salt block, is this like a reusable salt block, or can you tell people a little bit about the salt block?
Well, it's Himalayan pink salt, although right now it's not pink because after you use it for the first time, it infuses with the smoke.
Okay.
So it's reusable. You heat it up. You can cook anything on that you can cook in a regular cast iron frying pan. You can do shrimp, scallops, steak, fish. You could even fry an egg on it.
Oh, no way.
What it'll do is it'll get to whatever temperature you would normally bring your frying pan to.
Right.
You can hear right now we have a little bit of sizzle going on, and that's what we're looking for. It's going to sear. It's going to impart a lot of flavor, salt flavor into the scallops, but it's not going to put a lot of the actual sodium itself into the scallops.
Okay, so people don't have to worry about like a high salt content. It's more just like a flavor thing as opposed to. Okay, that's great.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's nothing more than seafood can go on something like this.
Whatever you can cook in a frying pan, you can cook on the salt.
That sounds good.
So now I'm going to put a little more cayenne pepper on the other side. And you can hear that sizzle. You can see a little bit of the steam coming off. You don't see a lot of moisture bubbling around the side,
No.
and that's a good thing because
Okay.
if there's too much moisture in the scallop, it will actually steam the inside and turn it rubbery. So
Okay.
we're not trying to poach the scallops, we're not trying to steam them. We want to sear the outside. We're gonna give it about a minute on one side,
Okay.
then we're gonna flip it over, give it another minute.
Okay.
We want a little bit of sear on the two surfaces. While it's sitting on the plate, it'll continue to cook just a little bit. If you had to use a steak term, we kind of want them a little bit medium rare. We
Oh,
don't,
do
we
ya?
don't want
Okay.
them to cook all the way through.
Yeah, I know like with scallops or fish or chicken, I find that people are a little bit more nervous cooking those types of items on the barbecue or even in the oven. So with your experience cooking that, is there an internal temperature or a way that you kind of know, all right, these are done, I can eat them, there's nothing to worry about?
I don't know about the internal temperature, but you can eat a scallop raw. You can make sushi with it.
Okay.
So any amount of cooking is just really to taste or what your preference is.
What your preference
So
is, okay.
I find them for me and for people that I normally cook for, again, if I had to, you won't see the color, but sort of a medium rare. The inside's just starting to cook. We want to pull them off.
Right.
And again, the important part is to get the excess moisture out. We don't want them to steam and cook on the inside.
Okay.
That's where they turn rubbery.
So the juicier the better then.
Nope.
Like,
we want to take the moisture out before we start to sear them.
okay.
Yeah, all the excess moisture.
Now that searing, is that just a technique? Could you cook them another way, or is this the technique that you're using just for this plate today?
I'm using this technique right now, but usually when I cook scallops, I almost always sear them. Anything else,
Okay.
if you cook them excessively in butter or olive oil, boil them, that's where they get rubbery and
Okay,
chewy. So
yeah.
you find people either love scallops or they hate them.
Yeah.
When I ask them why they hate them, they'll say because they're rubbery and chewy. So
Okay.
that tells me they just haven't had good scallops prepared the right way.
Right.
So
All right.
we're about a minute here, so
Okay.
let's take a look and see what we have.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
so
you
is
can-
that looking normal then for
That's
you with the
exactly
bubbling?
that's exactly what we want to
That's
see.
showing the
So
moisture
you
coming
can see
out.
this scallop right here.
Yep.
That's what we're looking for. We want that.
Those are beautiful.
Yeah, they're cooking up just right.
Not too much splatter coming off of that too, which
Nope.
is good. So what did you say the temperature of that block is again,
Right now
Jeff?
we're at about 500 degrees.
500 degrees.
Yeah. So you can see how they all have some nice caramelization. We want this color right here.
Yep.
That's exactly what we're looking for. That one came out beautiful.
Yeah, so those take no time at all.
No, they're cooking quite nicely. So you can see this color here.
Yep.
These ones, that's what we're looking for on both sides. You will get some moisture no matter what we do.
Yeah.
There will be some moisture, but the least amount we have, the better.
Okay.
So we're going to give those about another minute.
Okay.
Or even less. We can start to get our dish ready here. We're going to serve them up on here. So
Alright.
we're going to put some citrus, and we can just go ahead and spread some of that out.
Sure. Just anywhere on this is good for
Anywhere,
you?
yeah, we'll find a place to put the scallops. And then I like to drizzle a little bit of the oil on it as well, so that the citrus that we sliced up is going to have the nice little bit of heat to it as well.
Okay.
Give our scallops just a couple more seconds.
Sure.
What do you say we put some jalapeno on there?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I like hot stuff, so I'm fine with it.
So we'll just do some nice thin slices that we'll put over the top. We've got a little bit of an extra piece here.
Sounds good.
Perfect. And you know what? I think they're done.
So basically you're just going to take those off, stick them right onto this, and then we'll check
Exactly.
our avocado, see how that's doing.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
Wow. It looks nice and gourmet.
Well, that's the thing about a barbecue. We all know how to cook burgers and hot dogs and chicken on the barbecue, but there's a lot more you can do with it. You
Right.
can sort of take it up a notch. You can do some scallops. You can do some great types of fish on there.
Well, it looks like we prepared this all day, and here it didn't take us too long.
Didn't
so.
take too long at all. And again, if the scallops are, you can sort of come up with a way that you cook them to your taste.
Yeah.
So if you like them a little less cooked, a little more cooked, but you just want to be careful of not overcooking them.
Okay.
So there we go. We're going to take our lime. We're
Squeeze
gonna
it
squeeze
over.
some fresh lime on there.
Perfect.
And What the heck, right? If we're
What the heck? Why
gonna
not?
be spicy, let's throw a few
Yeah.
jalapenos on there.
Let's try it out.
And there we go. We got cayenne
Perfect.
seared scallops on a Himalayan pink salt block
And
with
that
a
sounds
citrus
delicious.
jalapeno vinaigrette and citrus slices.
All right, that sounds great. Well, before I get trying this, we'll pull off our avocado,
All right.
and I will take it to Shayna, see what we're doing with it, and when we come back, I will be giving it all a taste test.
Sounds awesome.
All right, and we're back here with Shayna. Shayna's making some sides for us today. Shayna, what do we have going on today?
We've got a grilled avocado and we're going to stuff it with a quinoa and black bean salad.
Perfect.
All right, you want to get started?
I would love to get started.
Okay, so we're going to chop our veggies first. If you don't mind taking that red pepper there.
Okay,
So if you could just do a really fine dice on that.
fine dice on the red pepper.
And I'm just peeling this cucumber so it can really marinate in the sauce we're going to put on it.
So it's important to take the skin off of the cucumber because of the flavor, you said?
Yeah, it just soaks up the flavor more. Okay.
Is this all right for dice size here, Shayna?
Oh, yeah, perfect. As fine as you can get it.
The finer the better then?
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. And we're using the whole pepper?
You can use half for now.
Okay.
We've just got two halves of avocado to fill here, so that's plenty.
Alrighty.
And so I've got my quinoa here. I did 1 cup of dry quinoa, so it yields a lot more than that, as you can see.
And for people at home who don't know how to make quinoa, how do you make quinoa?
So you use twice the amount of water to the amount of quinoa,
Okay.
bring it to a boil, you dump the quinoa in, return it to a boil, and then turn off the heat and leave it for about 20 minutes or so.
Okay, so if you forget it on the stove over 20 minutes, is that going to be a problem?
It can be, it can be. It depends on how hot your burner stays, I guess.
All right, well,
Okay.
let's not forget then.
So we can get this mixed up. So we're going to put the black beans. I have 1 can of rinsed black beans here, straight into the quinoa. And then if you could put your red pepper in there for me.
Sure. That adds some nice color.
Oh yeah, this is a really fun, colorful dish.
Looks pretty healthy too.
It is.
So I
And
can eat it and then hit the beach.
you definitely can.
I
yeah.
like that, I like that.
And also a really original main for if you have a vegetarian or vegan.
Oh yeah, true.
So
Very
I'm putting
nice.
my cucumber in there. If you don't mind putting that corn, I've got about a half cup of corn.
And that's going in?
That's going straight in there.
All right.
Okay.
Ooh.
And now we're going to make our dressing. So I've got 3 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar, 2 teaspoons of maple syrup.
That'll add a nice sweet taste to
Yeah,
it.
that in the corn. And then I've got 2 teaspoons of Dijon. Let's get that out of there. And a teaspoon of cumin, ground cumin. And then cilantro. I'm going to reserve a little bit of that to just put it on the top.
Yeah.
We'll whisk that together.
So there's basically no store-bought dressing for this. So this is a pretty easy recipe though.
It's very easy.
Is there
recipe.
anything you could substitute, or would you say stick with the recipe for this salad?
Really, you could use some sort of wild rice instead of the quinoa, but the quinoa's got protein in it, so if you're doing it, especially for a vegetarian, I'd leave the quinoa as it is.
Okay.
Okay, so we put our dressing in. I'm just going to give that a nice mix.
Wow, that's a beautiful salad.
Okay. And
I'm
I've got
looking forward to when this is coming into play.
my grilled avocados. Thank you very much, Jordan.
Hey, I did pretty good for my first time.
I would say so.
Hey,
I'm
I'm proud
impressed.
of myself.
I'm impressed. So we're just going to top these so it's nice and overflowing.
Oh. Just a question. So the skin is on these avocados.
Yep. So you can just scoop it. You can just scoop it right out of there.
Okay.
You could also top it with a little feta, a little goat's cheese to give it that a little bit of a salty flavor.
Yep. And then are we going to throw a little bit more of this
Yep,
on
top
top?
it off
did you say?
for me.
I like the finishing touches, so I thought I'd ask. How's that look?
Beautiful.
Perfect. Yeah, I would say definitely if you could put some crumbled feta or goat cheese on this, it would definitely add a delicious
Yep.
flavor.
Take
and
it up a
look.
notch.
Yeah, it would kick it up a notch for sure.
All right.
Perfect. I like it.
All set.
All right. Thanks, Shayna. Okay, so I am back here with Jeff, and we have got our main and our appetizers and our sides all ready for me to try. It's looking nice and colorful and summer fresh, don't you think?
Exotic even.
Very exotic. I like it. So I'm going to make myself a plate if you don't mind.
Absolutely, dig in.
All right, a little bit of scallops, a little bit of these spring rolls. Might as well put a little sauce on with this. And you know what? I think I'll add some of your citrus going on over here.
Oh, for sure.
Would you recommend taking a bite with the scallop and that?
I certainly would.
All right. And some of the stuffed quinoa avocado. Can't go wrong with that. I wish there was 2 plates for you, Jeff. But
no, you dig in.
And you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to try your scallop first.
How's that? A little bit of heat?
Exactly.
A little bit of citrus?
A little bit of heat, a little bit of citrus. It's absolutely delicious.
Perfect.
I will definitely be trying this at home. So again, Jeff, I want to thank you for coming on the show. And for those people at home, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.